Now, I'm sure you've heard of this word multiple times, especially if you're on a spiritual journey, whether that be Christian or New Age, whatever. I'm sure you've heard of this word, and that is discernment. So I want to start by saying, or at least explaining, what I believe discernment is, and then we can go into the other stuff. So for me, discernment is being able to figure out exactly what the messages that you're receiving is, being able to decipher them, being able to use your judgment, and also being able to kind of see the obscure, be able to tell what something is that most people can't. That is discernment. Now, I think what a lot of people leave out is that discernment is different for everyone. We all have our individualized messages that come through. We also have different levels of psychic abilities. I'm one of those people that believe that we are all psychic, but it's different, for everyone. So that's my definition of discernment. Now, how can you discern the messages that are coming through, right? And by messages, I mean synchronizations, like repeating numbers or seeing the same animal every single day or something, ringing in your ears, voices, and I'm excluding people who are mentally ill. Obviously, that's a whole different thing that I can't really talk about. But if you're hearing things that you don't normally hear and you have been growing spiritually, then discernment is really important for you to learn. Now, how to do it is basically how you would figure out how to do much of anything, and that is using your critical thinking. But most importantly, listening, stopping what you're doing and taking time to yourself, with yourself, and just listening. And I think people get really frustrated with that because they're so used to just being able to get the quick answer because we can get on our phones and Google what something means. But again, it's individualized to us, and that's not going to help you. I'll be honest with you. So being able to meditate and listen, patience is another one that would help you figure out and discern and decipher the messages that you're getting. Another thing is being able to realize the pattern that you're seeing. Overall, that's what you're doing, is you're noticing a pattern, you're putting the dots together, and it all comes together. And you're like, oh, that's what it means to me. I'm going to go ahead and write this down so I don't forget. Or I'm going to memorize it so that I know in the future, if I have this message again, I can decipher what it means. And obviously the overall goal is so that we can continue growing spiritually and we can help the collective in some way, shape, or form. At least that's my goal. Now, I do want to mention this. While on my journey, and I'm sure you've also dealt with this before, you'll run into spiritual teachers, people who seemingly know more than you do, who have been around for longer, who have more experience, who are older, who will tell you exactly what your messages are. I don't discredit their discernment. I don't at all. I think that sometimes it's really helpful, especially if you really can't figure out what something means. But I also believe that when there's something where there's a monetary gain behind it, or there's some sort of gain in general, then you have to be careful with that. No matter what, you can figure this out yourself. You don't need help. But, again, it's completely up to you at the end of the day. So, me personally, I feel like a perfect example for me is running into a spiritual teacher, actually multiple at this point, who told me that I wasn't ready, or who told me that I needed to do X, Y, and Z before X, Y, and Z. And I would get so caught up in what they told me that I would completely leave out my own practices, my own personal rituals that were actually helping me because of what this person said, And I think and within everything, especially in a spiritual journey, we try to take the fast track. There is no fast track. It's just you and your guides, you and your spirit family, you and God. So just keep that in mind. Not all spiritual teachers are there to help you. Now, the great thing about discernment is once you got it figured out, you are growing spiritually so quickly. It's almost like the world gets opened up to you, and you're able to kind of just move through all the BS that you would normally come face to face with and get to the other side much quicker. And that's a very vague thing to say, I know, but we all have different issues that we deal with individually. And I think that, once we're able to decipher what it means, then, the world is ours, basically. The world's completely open. So hopefully that helped you. If you have any questions, then please comment below. If you have your own opinion about discernment, please let me know. I would love to hear your opinion. And if you aren't already subscribing or liking this channel, please do. It will help me greatly so I can continue recording videos for you and just speaking from my heart. But overall, I really love that you guys are watching, and I completely appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you for existing.